Greetings, my name is Gregory Morse, and I'm talking tonight about the headwaters of Elk River. Uh, the Elk River drainage in general flows east to west across the middle of the state. It starts in Pocahontas County and it ends at the Kanawha River in Charleston, West Virginia. The drainage as a whole consists of three sections: the headwaters, which is what I'll be discussing mainly tonight, the Sutton Lake region, and the Below Lake region, going from Sutton to the Kanawha River. 10 communities utilize this drainage as a drinking water source. This drainage is estimated to contain 70 species of fish, one of the most in West Virginia. And in 2014, the Elk River made national news for an MCHM spill by freeze. The headwaters of the Elk River. This section of the river actually drains 85,000 acres in Pocahontas, Webster, and Randolph County. Myself, being a native of Webster County, grew up in this area, grew up fishing, hiking, camping, so I have a lot of ties to it. Try to get back as often as I can. I would love to see it preserved, not only for my benefit, but also for generations. The Elk River headwaters consist of 100 miles of 30 plus tributaries. The 8 major tributaries all start above 4,000 feet, which is relatively high for West Virginia. This area has a thriving hardwood timber industry, and because of this, it also has a lot of wildlife. The region has a legendary aquatic insect population, and this population helps support 3 reproducing species of trout, including the native brook trout. So, what makes this area so great? Why do we have this really pristine water? Well, this region has a complex karst geology, and this is where the surface water routinely flows underground through limestone. At this time, it's buffered as it flows back to the surface. This allows for not only cool water, but it's also pH neutral water. It's not uncommon to find dry stream beds, especially during the summertime. And it's thought that maybe this region has the largest sinking stream in West Virginia. The area surrounding this region is covered in what's called cove hardwood timber. This is a highly sought after timber because it is because of the quality of it, and they say it results from the soil, from the relatively moist soil that the hardwoods. So what's this area? What's the uses in this area? Well, the 2 major are tourism industries. You have Snowshoe Ski Resort, and you have Elk Springs Fly Fishing Resort. You also have, anytime you have great hardwoods, you also have a thriving forestry industry. You also have a rock quarry, a number of coal mining areas, surface mining, some oil and gas, and there's actually only 1 public water drinking source in this section of the Elk River. So, what's kind of the state of the watershed? Well, I was able to find a assessment done by Downstream Strategies in West Virginia DEP in 2008, where they went through and sampled a number of the tributaries. All tributaries sampled were found to have trout, which is great. The tributaries were found to have excellent benthic microinvertebrate scores, many in the optimal range. No aquatic habitats were found to be poor. That means none of the tributaries were found to be in the poor region. The water temperature was very cool. The DO concentrations were well above requirements, and pH levels overall were good, but some low pH was found in the regions near the ski resort and the rock quarry. So what's the pressures on this watershed? Well, anytime you have major resorts, you're going to have wastewater that needs to be treated, and that's a major problem in the area and an area of concern for stakeholders. This is followed by sediment and flooding, and these mainly stem from the forestry and the development associated with the resorts. In addition to that, you have some historical and active mine drainage, riparian disturbance, farming activities, future Marcellus gas exploration. Right now, there's not much in the area, but like a lot of places in West Virginia, there's a lot of talk, and it's something that the stakeholders in the area are concerned with. And then you have the addition of new impervious surfaces. This kind of comes back to development. As the hard top gets laid, you alter drainages, and you pick up a lot of sediment and a lot of velocity in the stormwater, which can cause problems in a watershed. So, what's some of the solutions? To combat this, most stakeholders agree that the pristine environment and clean water is critical to the tourism market, and that's a major thing in this area. It's something that people support and they want to see more of. With that said, there's been a couple of suggestions proposed. Strict development rules have been batted around, and this is, anytime you have a ski resort or you have other resorts, you have developers that want to come in and build cabins and restaurants, and what they're saying is you can do that, but you have to follow these very strict B&Ps so that they can ensure that their development is being done in a responsible manner. In addition to that, an implementation of a sediment prediction calculation has been recommended, and this is mainly for the forestry industry to kind of give the powers that be an idea of just how much sediment will be generated in relation to the amount of forest timbering that's taking place in the region. And lastly, development of a regional wastewater treatment plant. This has really been a hot item for this area. The ski resort has had trouble with their wastewater treatment plants in the past. And the Elk Springs Resort, they're kind of utilizing not so great wastewater treatment systems as well. So a regional plant that would pick up both the resorts and a number of homes is highly thought after. But anytime you build a wastewater treatment plant, you have a number of issues. One being nobody wants it in their backyard, so finding a suitable site for it is very difficult. And two, you've now generated a point source discharge to a pristine water. So you have a number of things to worry about, such as DO and fecal and nutrients in the water, and also temperature. So there's a number of things to worry about, but I am a firm believer that the regional wastewater treatment plant will benefit the area, but it needs to be done in a responsible manner, and it needs to utilize probably the best available. Here's just a picture, an example of what I'm talking about, where it's an underground portion of the river during the summertime. This area of the river is dry. It only flows during heavy rains or during the wet time of the year. This is actually very beneficial because the stream's underground here, so it's staying nice and cool, and it's being pH buffered as well. And it's because of this that this region is very, very unique to this. You'll see here that most of my material was gained from the Elk Headwaters Watershed Association, the West Virginia DEP, Downstream Strategies, and the State of the Watershed that was developed by Downstream Strategies and the West Virginia DEP. That's where I got my information as far as the quality and state of the watershed itself. And then also Elk Springs Resort, they were able to provide the majority of the pictures that you see in the presentation. If you have any questions or are interested in visiting the area, you can definitely check out the Elk Headwaters Watershed Association website or Elk Springs Resort website. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you very much for your time.